the edge of a new tomorrow, a brighter future, a secure future for one and all.
Nothing is secure within the reality of torment. Frozen in time and space. She suffers. For what purpose? What reason? Consequence. Awaken. In the darkest part of your mind, there's untold power. The Atlas is everything we see, and everything we do not. Burning synapses. She suffers. For what purpose? What reason? Consequence. Influence and power. Absolute.
Wouldn't have lasted a day in my pits.
She suffers. For what purpose? What reason? Unbridled revelry. In the darkest part of your mind, there's untold power. Hubris. Her dread shall not be erased so.
Good day and welcome to another build guide. This time I'm building a Mana-stacker. This build is very strong. It has tons of damage and has tons of survivability. So let's get into the PoE and let's see what we're dealing with here. Alright. So this build is based on two things: Manastorm and Indigon. So what is Manastorm? Manastorm has a specific line that we are looking at. When you cast a spell, it sacrifices all mana to gain added maximum lightning damage equal to 50% of the sacrificed mana for 4 seconds. This is our damage. All the damage that we get from this exact line. It gives us tons of flat damage, and combined with the mercenary, this exact amulet makes our hits lucky. So basically it rolls our hits twice and gives you the more damage one. So combining Manastorm with this amulet is insane. You couldn't do it before. Let's just tap D&D for now. Couldn't do it before because sacrificing all the mana would be very bad, and having that same amulet as well is bad. So when you have mercenaries, it's insane. So the other thing is using Indigon, as I was pointing here. Indigon has two things. It gives you tons of increased spell damage, up to 2000% increased spell damage per 200 mana spent, and we spend tons of mana. We actually spend this amount of mana, even more than this. So we have tons of damage from Indigon itself. The only throwback or the only issue with Indigon is the mana cost. It has 50% or more increased cost of skills per 200 mana spent recently, and we spend thousands every second. So how do we mitigate that? So there is something new this league that I found, which is the Ruin Graph of Recompense. So basically this recovers 10% of the skill mana cost per unspent chains when projectiles end. So let's say you're firing any projectile skill. What I'm using is Kinetic Bolt here. It has chain on it because I'm a Deadeye. I have 2 chains here. I have 1 chain here, sorry, and I have another chain somewhere else. I don't remember where. I think I have chain support or something. Yeah, Awaken chain support. I have 3 other chains. So I have a lot of chains and a lot of projectiles. Let me explain. So if you attack with the projectiles, as you can see, the mana is getting insane. I can keep up the mana as much as I need, as long as the projectiles hit a wall or hit something. If the projectiles just fly in the air, you actually still get the mana, but it takes a little bit of time. So the projectile has to end or has to reach its limit for you to get the 10% from the Ruin Graph. You can use Kinetic Bolt, you can use any other skill. This build is not specific for Kinetic Bolt, but this is the way I actually built it. But the reason why I'm using Kinetic Bolt is because it has tons of projectiles. So in retrospect, it has 4 projectiles as a base, because I get projectiles from here and I get projectiles from here. So I have 4 projectiles on it, but the warding on this one is insane. So every time a projectile is fired, it changes its direction in a zigzag. And for some reason, each of those zigzags are considered a new projectile. So it technically has almost 30 something, 32, 33. I don't have a clue. I have no idea. It has so many projectiles, it's insane. The other thing that I love about Kinetic Bolt is that increases and reductions to spell damage also apply to attack damage for the spells as 250 plus of their values. Because I have a 23 quality one, it's 257, but with a 20 quality 250, and that's actually insane as well. So any spell damage that I'm getting from the Indigon as well applies to the Kinetic Bolt. If you use a spell directly, it can be good as well, but in my opinion, Kinetic Bolt will be the best option, in my opinion, at least. So anyway, that's the main gist of the build. Basically, stacking mana as much as possible, relying on Indigon and Manastorm for the damage. As you can see, I have like garbage wand, and that's it. So let me explain a little bit further why I'm doing this in that way. I found the Ruin Forge, so I was like, Ruin Graph, sorry, and I was like, that's a lot of mana. I can use Indigon. And then someone gave me the idea of using Manastorm, so I made this up. In general, this build is very strong, as you can see from the numbers on PoE. You can get up to 50 plus million damage, which is absolutely insane. It clears every single content in the game. You have tons of survivability, and let's talk about the survivability for a bit here. I'm using Ghost Dance, I'm using Wind Dancer. Obviously I'm a Deadeye, so I have Gathering Wind and I have Wind Ward. It's insane. Also, I'm using this boot. Where is it? This boot right here. This boot gives you evasion rating per 500 maximum mana. And I have 7,000 at the moment. You can get more, you can get 8,000, 9,000 if you can. That would be also insane. But I get tons of evasion from this. Let's just remove this for a second. Let's see what my evasion goes. So, it's 19,000. With that boot, it goes up to 40,000 evasion. The only issue with that boot is, when you don't have mana, you need the mana flask to get started with the attacks. If you don't have that boot, you wouldn't have this problem. You would have mana regen, so you wouldn't even need to stop attacking. But with the boot, sometimes you will need to use the flask. And because we are mind over matter, obviously, it's a very weird tree, but I have to go mind over matter. Most of the damage is mitigated by the mana, and I'm also using this Watcher's Eye with 10% of damage taken from life before while affected by clarity. That's why I have clarity here as a level 1. Where is it? Yeah, here as a level 1, not 2. sorry, as a level 1, just to have the extra 10%. So basically 50% of the damage is mitigated by the mana, and the rest of the damage is basically mitigated by other layers of defenses like evasion, like spell suppression, a little bit of a block thing because of the shield, and the resistances. If you can get chaos resistance to be 75 as well, that would make you insanely strong. But I couldn't do that with my current budget. I spent like 50 divines on this. At the moment, I think this will cost around 100, 150 divines, depending on the level of gear that you want to get. I'm also using the trick of Thread of Hope to get these couple of points, because the small points will not be useful. I'm fully stun immune using this setup. So I have the Darkness Enshrouded. I have 2 jewels in it, one for the stun, immunity, and yeah, this one. And both of them have the chance to avoid being shocked. Those jewels are really expensive. You can get better jewels though, but that's what I opted for, because I wanted to be stun immune and elemental ailments immune, because I'm using Storm Shroud. So I'm ailments immune. I'm immune to everything basically, so this is very tanky. And as you saw from the fight with the whatever, the worm thing, the weird dragon, it was insane. I could tank almost everything, even though I couldn't see what was being shot at me. So yeah, this build is insane. I hope you enjoy it. If you have questions, let me know. I don't really have much else to explain. The rest of the gear is pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, I'm using the Coiling Whisper. It's very, very, very good. So let me remove this. It gives you tons of damage, and you can constantly have it while bossing, while mapping. You can get even 40 stacks, but I usually put 30 stacks here just to be safe, on the safe side of things. So let's actually go to 20 even, because I don't want to overstep this. I'm also using the same setup from last video with the Mercenary and Doriani's prototype to reduce the lightning resistance of the enemies. I have 140 right now. You can even get more if you invest a little bit more in your Mercenary. Yeah, and I have Rage as well because of the glove right here. Yeah, and you have 100% uptime on the Rage, which is insane. And yeah, the build is insane. The way I actually apply the Coiling Whisper is this setup right here: temp chains, less duration, and hex touch. I'm using this one. This one, as you can see, is absolute shit, but all I need from it is the mana roll and the fire burst on hit. This is hold on, let me show you. This is this essence right here, Essence of Hysteria. You use Essence of Hysteria on ones like this one right here to get as much attack speed and critical strike chance as possible. I opted for the one with the more crit. I'm trying to craft this one to have attack speed and crit as well. I crafted this one, I tried it for a bit, it didn't feel that much of a difference, so I'm gonna recraft it again. But anyway, you can basically get a wand with a fractured flat mana like this one, and then just throw one of these on it and you're good to go. So because the fire burst will apply the temp chains to any monster pretty much, and with the less duration and hex touch and more or less duration that you're getting from the tree, less of skill effect duration with the maximum mana from here, and more effect duration reductions that you can get from the tree. You can get even more. You'll basically have the Soul Eater stacks minimum 30, but I'm going on the safe side and just put 20 here. So yeah, this build is absolutely insane. What else? What am I missing? Also, in the configuration, don't miss to have the Manastorm buff, because that's all your damage. See, if I remove it, I have 10 million because of this insane number here, but without the mana spent recently and the Manastorm, you don't have damage. You really don't. But yeah, usually you're spending the 16,000, all of the 16,000 all the time, as you saw from the previous showcase, it's always up. You can never get it down. The only issue with this build, in my opinion, is that it's a little bit clunky because at some point your mana cost will be so high, extremely high, that you will be having 4 seconds with no damage whatsoever, and that happened in the showcase as you saw. But those 4 seconds, you're extremely tanky. You just stand there, wait for the 4 seconds to go by, and then apply any of the spells that you have, so you can prog the Manastorm again and prog the Indigon again and destroy things. Any spell that you can use, any instance spell, will prog the Manastorm. What I use is Blood Rage and Frostblink. I also have an automation setup. Where is it? Yeah, automation setup with Convocation. Convocation will proc it. It has almost no cost. It's insane. With Arcane Clock, it's a lot of defenses. Also, let me show you something. All right, so Arcane Clock is part of our defenses. It's a huge part of our defenses. Without it, you're still tanky. 50,000 effective hit pool is a lot, but the Arcane Clock defensive layer is one of the best layers that you can have for this build. So this is a must, but the phase run, the Convocation, Blood Rage, all these are not actually really needed. You just need any type of spell that will proc the Manastorm. I proc it this way. You can choose your way. Any gem that has the spell tag will work. With that being said, I think that's it for the build. If I missed anything, let me know. And if you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to bring up, just let me know down in the comments. Appreciate you for watching. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit the like button. Share this one with your friends if you can, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much for being here, and have a great day. Bye bye.